This woman also leads a team of about 30 people. She's responsible for millions of dollars in assets. She also leads a business where she has $1 million in profit in her business as well.
Let's talk about it. When the last time you told somebody keep their head up cause you concerned about them. Stick and move, we can get it done. Call it unity, it ain't no way around it. Cultivating, we get motivation from the big guy. We don't play about them. Going hard for the game, showing love, don't tolerate hate around it. Sticking to keeping it real, we never keep up with the scope. Wanna be more than do more than most. Wanna be more than do more than most.
This episode is brought to you by Valious Cleaning Service, where your cleanliness is our business. Now, this company specializes in commercial and residential cleaning. So if you want a free quote, be sure to reach out to their website at www.lucillascleaningservice.com.
What's happening, people? Welcome back to Be More to Do More podcast, where we help you to become the person you need to become to do the things you called to do. See, I got it right this time.
What's up?
What's up, bro? Tone in the building, man. And
Henry Allen Harton.
the what?
Third.
Don't forget the 3. You already know. As you guys can see, we couldn't hide her because we got one camera here, but we got another guest.
Yes, man.
Boy,
man.
I had to put my crimson on because we in Lounge County. You know what I'm saying? We on the road to do a road show.
Road show.
229, West Side, Lounge County.
Right, this is definitely West Side Lounge all the way.
But I want to make sure I introduce our guests today. Doobies, we got a treat for you today.
Doobies!
We got a treat for you. First and foremost, this woman is a devoted wife, right? The love and admiration and respect that she has for her husband is just, it's just phenomenal. She's also a dedicated mother. Shout out to DSL.
DSL?
Yes.
Okay.
You might hear her a little bit. We gonna rock and roll. This woman also leads a team of about 30 people. She's responsible for millions of dollars in assets.
I'm ready to hear this. Talk about it.
Not only that, she also leads a business where she has $1 million in profit in her business as well. In profit.
Let's go.
One of the most dynamic communicators that I know. I think, in my opinion, right? She's the most dynamic communicator in our lifetime.
Let's go.
Wow.
Let's go.
Wow.
Let's go.
Her level of emotional intelligence is just. It's just, I don't know, it's just something about it. Just you can just I call her when I'm trying to figure out something, how to say a certain thing. She's provided so much value to me and my business and my life. And Doobies, I know that she's gonna do the same thing.
Oh my gosh.
To my Doobies, I present to you Bo Lucas.
Hey, Doobies.
I have the applause button, but
Right? It's all right. We just clap it up.
Oh, man,
First question.
Oh man, you didn't even let me say thank you for that awesome introduction. Golly, I'm like, I better bring it. Better bring it today.
we in for it, man.
For sure. I'm excited.
Yeah. First question I have for you is, what made you say yes to doing this podcast today?
Man, what made me say yes to doing this podcast today, it's funny, my husband's here because he was like, I don't know how many times God's going to have to hit you across the head to let you know what you're supposed to be doing. So when you called me, I was like, all the way. I love to share knowledge. I love to be able to impact people through things that, the Lord gives me to be able to say to them.
Right.
So I wasn't turning it down. And sitting with 2 young, courageous men that have started an awesome just initiative, really.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. People need to hear things like this, what you guys talk about daily on your shows, to literally be who they're supposed to be. So I want to turn this one down. I said, yeah. Well, I got to drive to Atlanta. I got to come to Valdosta. Oh, you come to Valdosta. Yeah. That'll work. Sure.
Sometimes you forgot, I forgot, 6-figure earner, by the way.
Woo! Sure.
I forgot to mention that. So she got a little money.
Make a little money around here. Just a little bit.
We got to know.
Yes.
But I guess my next question would be what's your goals for today? What is your what are you looking to provide today in terms of the podcast?
Man, because I'm a thinker too. I'm a bit thinker. So when I was thinking about this moment, I told you I was up like 2:00 this morning, right? Looking, and I'm always going to ask God, like, what does He have for me today?
Right.
What is it that I'm supposed to accomplish today? So literally, there has to be something that needs to be said to a audience of people that will help to inspire, impact, and maybe help them to move on whatever it is that they're supposed to be or supposed to be doing. So whatever transparency, knowledge, ideas I can give today, I'm very open. I'm open. Today I'm very open just to be able to provide that. And in return, I know that it's going to come back around through the conversation that we have today. I believe a lot of things can happen through conversation. We don't do enough of it, so I'm ready for the conversation.
That's the first thing I told him yesterday, because I was like, I know, he pretty much told me what you do. Your background. It's like, man, I just got a feeling it's going to be a pretty dope conversation. So I'm really looking forward to it. But one thing I want to bring up is purpose, right?
Oh, man.
Because you just said something already, and it sparked something. You said that my husband told me, like, I don't know how many times God is going to hit you upside. We was watching a movie yesterday, right? What was it?
Was it Sweet Tooth?
Sweet Tooth, right. And I guess the doctor, spoiler alert.
Right, spoiler, because he about to tell it.
So I guess one doctor was telling the other doctor, hey, look, I'm about to die. so I'm going to need you to find this cure. And he's like, yo, I ain't even practicing no more, right? And then I was like, I looked at Henry, I was like, purpose. I said, because we get so consumed in what we should be doing and not who we're becoming. And your husband was like, I don't know how many times God gonna hit you upside the head, and like it should be because it's already in you. You know what I mean? You say it's not in you, it ain't on. What do you say?
It ain't on me, it's in me.
It's in me. It's in me, man. You talk about that, and I have a 15-month-old, right? I'm one of those parents now that say all the months, right? I have a 15-month-old and was starting a new position at work. Like you said, wife, radio show host, minister in the church. And so you start to see all these things that you have to do, right? And sometimes you get so locked up in what you have to do that you just don't do it. And my husband, biggest advocator, he'll always say, no, you got time. I'll take the baby. I can do this. I can do that. I can do this, right? And in reality, I just needed to do it. And so I really got consumed with the transitions that were happening in my life and used those as excuses to not be who I was supposed to be. And today, funny, it's really solidifying the moment that where there's really a will, there's a way. But you got to be determined to actually take the way.
You better tell them. Man, something happened to me. I think this past week, I made a decision to do something. Like once you make that initial decision, it's like God started to open up doors. You know what I mean? And leading you and guiding you. So that's what's up.
We try to have too many of the answers. Purpose is such a loaded word, such a loaded context, especially that the world is coming across today. And we try to put too many things in it when really purpose is just being.
Dang. Hey. Bars.
Right? It's just being. And so you got to make the decision to be. Right? Like, we live, we are here, we are beings. And so we got to just make the decision to be. When we make the decision to be, doors open, guidance comes, ideas come. Like, all of that stuff will come if we just be.
But that's the hard part, though, right?
The hard part.
Like, how do you break through that? How do you, like, because right now you're in a position, right, where you are being pressed to or called to do something. And you got all the support around you, right? Supportive husband, support, just everything should be in line. And it's just really being still and actually doing it or being it. How does somebody maneuver past just getting things out their way to get to that?
This is where I guess my spirituality comes into play. It's because I have to relinquish my inadequacies to the person that made me.
Heard them big words she said there?
What she just said, my strength is made perfect.
In his weakness. That's all I just literally.
But she put it so like.
Hey, when I talk. the most dynamic communicator of our lifetime. I'm telling you.
Y'all see it right here.
Right here. Sorry, go ahead.
You gotta make me cry. Don't make me cry today. I'm not gonna be that person. But no, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It's because a lot of times we look at all of our weaknesses instead of our strengths. And it's so funny, me and him work together. We just had to do a Clifton Strengths assessment, right? And ever since we've done it, I have leaned into it. And my number one strength was being a person of intellect.
Okay.
And so I'm constantly now leaning back into my strengths. I come face a challenge at work. I said, what were my strengths, right? What were my strengths, right? But even in knowing my strengths, I know my weakness, but I know who made me with purpose, and they're going to give me whatever it is I need to be able to get by it, whether that's better managing my time, because you have to be good stewards, right? There are things that we are not naturally good at, and we gotta work on them. So you have to realize what it is that may be your weakness, to make sure you're working at it. I have to be better at time management. I have to organize. I have to communicate. Hey, I have this going on. I told my husband, hey, I gotta record today. Now I told him a little last minute, right? But hey, I have to record today, right? So that your support can really be your support. And we have all the support sometimes around us, but because we haven't communicated what the need is that we're going to need from them to be able to be who we're supposed to be, they're waiting. They're waiting, and they can't do anything because we have disarmed them. So I'm just trying to do better, and I encourage anybody to do better at arming your support and arming yourself to make sure, they can be there for you.
Wow. So self-awareness is
self-awareness.
Legitimate.
Self-awareness. Forget what everybody else got going on. You got to know what you got going on.
But see, I see even in you communicating that you build from there. And I always talk about knowing yourself first. It sounds selfish, right?
Yeah.
But how can you arm your support system, or how can you maneuver if you don't know where you are? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I see even in that conversation, you lean on, okay, what are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? Okay, cool. Let me build on this. Yeah. That's really dope. So what got you to the point of this self-awareness, self-knowledge, emotional intelligence, this dynamic person that you became or you are today? What got you to that point? What was it that got you there?
Man, loaded. That's
I know it's, but it's something that just what I know it had to be something.
So who were you before you are the person you are today? Growing up, just what was, because I always looked at you as this intelligent, always was smart and driven, but that don't mean that it's been easy for you.
Right. No way easy. I think we all have paths that we have to take in life. The first thing to that question is, I really believe it's who God created me to be. I tell my team, inadvertently, hey, something that I'm gifted with, right? Because you don't like to put your religion off on people. But something that I'm gifted with is being able to discern people. That's just a gift that was placed in me, number one. Two, I came from a good life and a not so good life. We were very rich at one point in my life, and we became very poor at one point in my life. And I experienced that in the matter of 18 years. They say, stay tuned for more details to that. So I got to see what it was like to be a full family. The Cosbys, if you would say, right? The Huxtables, if you would say. And then we went to single family. That was barely making it, And even in that, my mom, probably one of my greatest just inspirations, really helped mold me into the person that I became. And what I realized as I got older is she realized she couldn't even mold me by herself into being who I needed to be. So she put me in things like Boys and Girls Club. I had a lot of mentors growing up. I was active in church. So she had certain people that now I look back and see that this is what she was doing. But she had certain people surrounding me that were able to help mold me into this being. So by the time that I graduated high school, you're right, I was very driven, top of the class, right? I knew what it was I wanted to do. I knew who I wanted to become because I had to put in work at an early age for it. I was working 2 jobs by the time I got out of high school already. I was already working 2 jobs, right? I've been working. I tell people I've been working for a long time, man. I'm 32. I've been working since I was 16. I got time for that, right? So I've had to put that work at the end. It's part of who I am. It's part of my story, and then I'm just so big. It's so funny you talk about being one of the most dynamic communicators. I'm so big because of certain experiences that I've had on being the best at whatever I do.
Makes sense.
And I believe in communication to my bones. So I always wanted to be the best. I've always had a goal to be like a CEO. Like I always wanted to be at the top because I knew then I would be the person that could change whatever needed to be changed. So I have worked continuously towards that goal. And if it means that I have to be more aware of people around me, of their feelings and how they learn, so be it. I will take the back seat so that you can be better, but I've always wanted people to be better, and I really like for it to start at a younger age, which is why I used to work with the Boys and Girls Club. So we can get them in the inception, right? Like you can get them when they are the most, you can be the most impacted, most impressionable for sure. And now where I'm at in life, it's like, okay, well maybe you're coming out of college, maybe you've had a life change. Let's see what we can do to make your life better. So that's how I lead in a sense.
That's what's up. That's a great story. I got a lot out of that. I want to bring it up right now, but I got a feeling you got something. You got a question.
No, I mean, I probably something different. I had something and then my mind just goes. So, because you said, okay, maybe you just had a life change. Maybe there's something like, again, you talked about earlier in the conversation about your spiritual life and you don't want to put that on them.
Right.
At the same time, that's how you've been able to achieve success. So
for sure.
How do you do? I mean, because there's a lot of leaders right now that watch our we got a lot of doobies, right? That
doobies.
And they're in that spot where they're trying to, move a team forward, right? But maybe they don't know how to do that in a way that without pushing it on, because at the end of the day, right, these biblical principles, they work.
They work.
Period.
It is what it is.
They work.
So, but you can't necessarily say the Bible said that you need to do that. Right. Because you got people that's going through different stages of life, right? Talk about Boys and Girls Club, and but how do you do that? How do you give them what you have without it one feeling like it's forced on them, but then at the same time it's PC. Right.
It's definitely strategy, I will tell you. And I'm just at the point in my life where I'm not going to dumb down who I am.
Makes sense.
Because of who you are. Right. And part of who I am is my spiritual sense. Right. The thing that you said is that they're principles. So I like to bring it to them in a principle type format, right? How patient were you?
See, your communication is
with this, right?
Like I be trying to find the words sometimes. How do I say the sentence?
What is it that this patience may be trying to bring out of you, right? That's just letting patience have its perfect work.
Right.
That's the scripture behind it, right? I didn't tell you that this is the scripture and I got it from the Bible, King James Version, right? But now I'm challenging you on a principle. And so a lot of times how I bring things to my team is through principle, right? And that's really what I do. I don't say, hey, in Ecclesiastes. No. Because God said, right? Because we're really the church, right? So we have the the command to go out, right, and bring people. And the truth be told is that some of the people that we come in contact with will never go to a building.
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
So they only have interactions with me, and it's going to be through work. It's going to be through life. Me talking about being a mom. So I have to make sure, again, I'm open to whatever the Lord has for me for that day.
Right.
So I start all my days off. I'm up very early with prayer, scripture, right?
Right.
So that I'm open to whatever it is, so that I can make sure I'm communicating to them what they may need in the moment. But they're only going to have it through conversation with me, and my job is just to give it to them.
Right.
I give it to them. They be wanting to go to church afterwards. I'd be like, oh, okay, if you want to, if that's going to help you in your journey.
Okay.
Sure, it's your decision. But half of my people barely even know sometimes that I'm as deep as I am into the church.
Man.
Yep.
Okay. I don't want to dive off of the conversation, but I just have to. What's your leadership in church? What is your position in church?
I'm a minister, man. I'm a minister.
So is that ordained?
Ordained.
Okay.
Ordained. Official.
So
Real
reverend.
deal.
She a reverend.
Man, no reverend.
She a reverend, right?
Man, don't take me AME.
It's
Don't take me there. Don't take me there. I'm taking the table up. Don't take me there.
Honestly, this was the only question I had, because I was like, he was like, she don't like to put it out there like that.
Right.
But I'm the same way. Because I was like, oh man, there's a connection there. And just based upon your conversation, I'm like, man, she's really communicating the gospel in a way where people can understand it. And I think that, I ain't gonna say nothing bad about the last generation, but we have to understand that the lingo is different.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And I just like the way you communicate the gospel, in a way where people can understand. Of course I can understand patience.
Right. Right.
So where did that come about? Like, what made you decide to go that route? And
man, you gonna make this episode have to be 2 episodes. I'm telling you.
I was just curious.
No, I came up with the generation that you're talking about, right? Where it was church. Great foundation. They have some of the best wherewithal and work ethic and diligence and faith that this new generation doesn't. They don't have it, right? But I saw that, and I often tried to be the bridge between the young and the old, right? I want, hey, we get what you're saying, but all we're saying is, instead of us coming to church, can we go to the trampoline park? Right. No, we can't. That's not holy. Okay.
You ain't gonna be blessed.
Right, you ain't gonna be Sorry, okay, I'll be at church at 6 o'clock, right? And so one of my goals with being like a minister is how do I simplify this gospel like Jesus did, right?
He did, right.
He simplified the gospel. He brought it to them, presenting it in parables and things of that nature so that they understood it and then they followed. And so I definitely take that approach. Okay. And that's really where it came from. I did not want to preach at people. I did not want to, you ain't living right. That's really why you're going through what you're going through. Because you ain't living right. If you would have moved out, you'd have been all right by now, right? I try not to be that person, but I try to be so relatable to the fact that they be like, golly,
what is this person?
What is this person? Why does it seem like you always have a solution?
Right.
Like, why do you always have something beneficial to say? Right. Why do you always see the good in things? Right. Like, and so that's where it came from, because I was raised in church. I was raised in church, and baby, they beat us down with the gospel.
I had it so bad. I'm just going to the streets.
Yep.
I'm just sell drugs.
Yep.
I don't like this.
I don't like this. I
might as well just go.
I might as well. And that's the disconnect that we're having with this new generation, because they're wiser. That's what it says, right? Each generation gets wiser and weaker. That's true. They ain't as strong in the faith, but they're wiser. Yeah. They don't think the way that we thought in the old days. And the truth be told, things have evolved.
That's true.
Right? We had COVID that shook up the world. Now we're here. here in the comfort of our own home, being able to do this, right?
Right.
We didn't have that 10 years ago.
That's true.
So we have to make sure that we are constantly evolving as the church, and that we're arming the army accordingly to go out to do these things. So I'm big on that.
Man.
I'm big on that. That's why I wear my trendy shoes, my trendy glasses.
Right.
No, you can look good and still be saved.
Right. Exactly.
Oh man, that's a whole nother. Yeah, I can wear my jeans and still be saved.
The long skirt,
Right.
all the way down to your ankles.
Oh no, gotta put a hat. Gotta be covered. You gotta be covered.
They gonna think we bashing on
I
something.
know. We love you guys. We love you.
Hey, it's our generation though, man. Like, like she said, things have evolved. And one thing I always say too is that the information out there, it's a lot of information. And the revelation of the church have to increase too.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
For sure. And that's a big part, is the knowledge that our, grandparents or parents may have had 50 years ago. We have more knowledge now,
Right. Yeah,
right?
true.
So the knowledge may have been limited, which means the revelation is going to be limited because the information was limited. So as we got more information, God gave us more revelation. So now we're in a different place. That's all. If we got that concept that we're just in a different place, right? We will be all right.
Yeah.
As the church, we will be all right.
Yeah.
So where do you go from here, right? Because obviously it's not the old school, right? We're kind of that middle age, but
Yeah.
there's another wave that's coming in.
Yes.
10 years from now.
Oh my God.
What does the trend look like? What does it look like to be able to lead people? How do we need to lead those people that's in that next generation?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
The big part, because we're not going to know everything that's going to come down the pipeline in the world, is that we got to get them connected now.
That's true.
They got to be connected. They need to be on your youth boards. They need, you can put them on your trustee board if you want to, so you get perspective from them now of what it is that they're seeing. Because the truth is, we're not seeing everything that they're seeing. They see it directly, and if you have that open line of trust between, they will be more willing to come and say, hey, this is what we're experiencing. You teach them the foundation, but you got to have that open line of communication so that we really get to the goal that it is we're trying to accomplish. So I think the big thing that maybe that lack between our generation and last generation was listening.
That's true.
We're so big on talking, but the other side of communication, it's listening. So if we listen to what it is and just try to stay relevant, doesn't mean we have to change, but stay relevant to what's going on, we'll be okay.
Okay.
We'll be okay.
So kind of like make sure they feel a part.
Got to make sure they feel a part.
Yeah, listening, and just taking their ideas and, with it and stuff like that.
You'll be surprised how young people want to hear about the things you experience. I love to sit in the presence of the older and listen to what they experience, because then it lets me know how you think.
Right.
And now we don't know how people think because we've shut them off. We don't listen to them, and we just talk to them.
Yeah, that's true.
So we got to listen.
We got to. You have to. So you talking about people and, the younger generation. Is this like your passion? Because now I'm curious as to your money, right? Like how you like, a lot of people struggle making six figures, right?
Yeah.
So is this the passion that's driven you to get to that level?
Man, I'm so passionate about people.
Okay.
Like if I had to have a theme of my life, it would be the developer of people. I used to introduce myself and say, "Hey, I'm Vo. I'm the developer of people."
Okay.
They be like, I make people, right? that is my job, right? But as I got older, I didn't just come out and say it, but that was the underlying of everything that I did, was to develop people.
Okay.
So it was so crazy with the company I'm with now, of how I was able to get into the role that I'm in, because that's really my passion. You're right. It is my passion. I love people. Now, on the same end, sometimes I dislike them. We'll be real about that.
The best thing about you, what you do, and the worst thing about
It'd be the best and the worst.
So is that being that it could be a challenge? Well, what keep you motivated to keep going? With these people.
It don't be easy. It don't be easy.
I guess because managing people is so like, Myron Golden, he talks about, I guess, what is it, 4 or 5 tiers? You got the idea creation phase, and you got the communication phase, and you got the managing people phase, and you got the physical work phase, right? So managing people is a whole different skill set. And I'm learning this right now. Right?
Yeah.
So what keeps you motivated to even push through that? When sometimes you go home like, you know what? Is it worth it?
Man, I think I called him the other day and I was like, you sure? You sure? You sure? Okay. All right, you saying sure. I'm going to go try it again. I'm going to try it again. Because one thing I've learned is that things are going to get difficult, right? And the word taught us that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That things were going to be difficult.
You went right.
Yeah, right.
You know,
Right.
but it affirmed us that we can do it.
Right, that's true.
We can do all things, no matter what the situation may end up being like.
Right.
I can bring you out of it so that you can accomplish it with my strength.
Right.
So there's a certain level of wanting to be the best and it being challenging that really keeps me motivated.
Okay.
Because I'm not going to get beat.
So it's a little bit of ambition.
It's a little bit, yeah.
And passion and, scripture. So
It's a little gumbo. It's a little gumbo. It's a little gumbo there. And some of the richest people in the world are the ones that figured it out.
Yeah.
Some of the wealthiest people, they just figured out how people think and how to get them to do.
Right.
And now they're sitting back and they're writing books and doing podcasts. That's what I'm trying to get to, right? They're the brain behind it.
Right.
So my intellect really is another thing that it got to be a way. It got to be a way.
You keep going back to intellect.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Y'all about to get me on it. Okay.
Which is one of mine. So,
Okay, on Clifton, yes.
so intellect, ideation, I forgot the other ones, but it's all in that arena.
Yeah.
Strategist.
Strategist.
I read your profile and I was like,
Strategist.
God, wife, mother, strategist.
Yes.
Talk about that. Why did you put that there? What is it
In the
about?
bio.
In the bio, right?
And it hit me. I'm like, strategist. Let's talk about it. So yeah, what is that about? Strategy.
Man.
How do you feel going to that? It's just going to it.
The reason why I put that is because literally, again, my husband, y'all gonna hear me refer to him so many times.
represent your-
Not just because he's here, but because he's actually really that awesome. He tells me, he says, you have a gold mind. Like your mind is gold, Vo. And I was like, dang, I guess you're right.
Right.
The ideas, just the strategy that it takes, right, to get people to move, to get people to do, to challenge people. Whenever somebody is in need of something, my phone is going to ring. Hey, how am I supposed to do this? Not just you, everybody. Everybody. Hey, how should I get this off the ground?
Right.
Hey, how should I do this, right? I'm a marketing major.
Okay.
And so, And so, us having to build things is like in our nature.
Right.
And you only can build things, right, through strategy. How do I put this piece with this piece so that it doesn't fall? So when it really gets to me talking about being a strategist, it's because whatever it is that's needed, I have a plan for it.
Okay.
Have a plan for it.
Okay.
That's a C in you, huh?
That's the C in me.
Conscientious.
So
What's your second one?
the I,
Influence.
influence.
Okay.
People.
People.
Oh, makes sense. Yeah, I love people. Okay. So, strategy, has that been a big part or a big talent that's gotten you the success that you have now?
Yeah, for sure. I don't like it can be my greatest strength and my greatest weakness because I don't like moving on things if I don't have a strategy. And sometimes that goes against faith.
Dang.
That's where my S come into play.
Yeah. And
Okay.
you just go ahead and do it. Yeah. I won't. I'll be like, nope, it is not planned. We got to come back to the drawing table.
Right.
But yeah, in the last probably 3 years, that's been my challenge of making sure I'm not so strategized that I don't move on what God has said. And it gets, for me, very taxing because I'm like, I don't know the next piece.
Right.
Like, You gave me this mind.
Right.
The people call me because of the mind that you gave me.
Right.
But this all I got for them. Now, I don't know about you, but they may not pay me. This may not work. And it's so crazy is that even in what I give the people, they be like, golly, I didn't think of that.
Right.
I'd be like,
Man.
yeah, okay, so that was enough.
Right.
And I have to realize that sometimes with my strategic mind is that it's enough.
Yeah.
Right, true.
Like,
True.
it's enough. And even if something comes that throws it off, he's going to give it to me to make it work.
Yeah.
As you know, when we first started this podcast, you know, we wanted to talk to successful people to teach them how to do this and how to do this. And I have no beef with the self-help industry.
Oh, man.
But there are some times where you're going to have to let your faith. You know what I mean?
You got to.
You got to let you know, I was struggling with like, are we talking too much about faith? You know?
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, because people want how to do this.
Yeah.
You go to YouTube, as soon as you put, this is how you do this, you get like 1 million views.
Yep. And it'd be the same thing that somebody has said, right, over and over.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy, right? You know, not to talk about self-help, but you talk a lot about manifesting things. Well, the big part of manifesting is that you just believe that it's going to happen, right? You do your part and you believe that it's going to come. Well, faith is the substance of things hoped for that you believe, right? This is going to take place, right? And that's the part, even being here today, thank you guys for the invitation, because it's just like, you just got to believe, girl. Go do it and then believe. Go do it and believe. Keep working, because that's a part of faith too.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Got to work. Faith without works is dead. It ain't going to happen, right? It's not going to happen.
You can't just be at home faith.
You can't just be faithing. I mean, faithing it out, right?
Everything happened in my face
Everything
closet.
happened in my faith closet. No, you got to go do something.
Look like
You got,
Franklin out here.
right. You got to go take a step, and then you believe. So yeah.
I read my bad, bro.
You good.
So I read I want to say Acts 28, 29? Not to get all preachy, you know. I ain't trying to go all reverend on you now, but
He's ordained too.
He's ordained. I can tell. He got the hand. It's the hand.
y'all go read that. But it's a story when, you know, Apostle Paul was incarcerated and on the ship they was in some trouble, you know. And Apostle Paul, he told the shipmates or whatever, yo, we need to do this. They didn't listen, right? But then Paul really didn't have all the answers. He was like, but I'm not really sure, you know. But then God came to him and let him know that, you know, they're going to be okay. Nobody's going to die in the middle. They was in the ocean, storms and all that. God said they're not going to die. They're going to be okay, you know. So Paul relayed the message, you know, hey, God said we're going to be good. Eat, have some food, have that.
Right.
Like, what?
You're crazy.
Bro, you tripping. They made it safely. And the story showed me that even in leadership, I don't have to have all the answers.
Man, golly.
All you need to do is be one step ahead.
That's it.
That's it. Just one.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
What was talking about on the way? Like, you don't have to be the expert at something. You just need to be one step ahead of this person to be able to bring them along. And then and that's what mentorship is so important too, right? Like, you got to have somebody that you're learning from as well. Right. But just kind of go back to the point that you guys are making about, you know, faith and where they work. And like, the work doesn't matter if the faith isn't there. And
that's it.
Like, it's all, and again, I talk about this book a lot, but Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. He talks about, I mean, a lot of it's just about energy. How you do, how you do something. Like, your energy got to be right.
Golly.
To produce the results that you need.
Oh my goodness. Right. Yes. And it's so funny because I recently had that challenge probably about 3 months ago. You know, things start to decline a little bit, performance start to shift a little bit. You be like, whoa, right? What? You be like, you got to make sure you see that it was on the decline, right? And boy, you want to come out and you want to, whatever you got it with, you want to give it to them with. And that's not how teams move.
Makes sense.
The way you give it to a team is how they are going to respond to it. So if you give it as if we gonna make it, they'll work as if you gonna make it.
See, that's the other part I learned about that Paul story. Even though he didn't know all the answers, he just said, okay, let me pray. They saw his faith. His faith was, you know, and then when people see your faith in that moment, it's about God.
Yep.
You know, it's no longer about you.
Yep.
You know, but they looked up to him because of his faith. And, you know, at the same time, God got his glory. So I don't have to know everything. I ain't gonna know everything. Yeah. Starting today.
If you knew everything, you'd be God.
They say sometimes I'm called know-it-all.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But
and that's how we're able to build people is to sometimes show them that we don't know, and sometimes they do.
That's true.
Yep.
They just maybe haven't gone through a process to see that they actually do know, right?
Yep.
So sometimes silence is the best teacher.
That's true.
And just having the good energy and having the good vibe and the motivation to let them know, hey, we're gonna make it through.
Yeah.
It looks like this right now, but I believe in you. I believe that you're gonna find the answer too.
Yep.
Well, you got
Let's
me
go.
excited, man.
All right, let's go. Let's go.
What we need to do?
That comes with knowing your team too, right? Because like as she was saying, and one of the things like in our company, right, where the difference between a level 2 position and a level 3 position is being able to disseminate information from a level 4 and disseminate it to your team.
Yeah.
And you got to be able to, like, no matter how much you're getting pushed about and driven and however they're giving it to you, depending on your team, you cannot give it that same type of energy to them. Depending on some people, you can like give it to them raw, uncut, whatever, right? But a lot of people, you have to filter it out and be able to communicate it in a way that they can dissect it. Otherwise, it becomes demotivating.
Yep.
So communication is key.
Communication is key. Effective.
The beginning was the word was with God, the word was God. Man, you already know communication. It's his way of communicating how he loves. Okay, go ahead.
Yep.
My bad.
Speaking of words.
Oh man.
Lyric of the week.
Lyric. What we got?
All right. This lyric. So I want to get your opinion on it.
Oh man. This is that cool stuff. Okay.
Even though I came to bring you the word, I'm no reverend.
Reverend.
I'm just a dang. I almost forgot it. Even though I came to bring you the word, I'm no reverend. I'm just a casualty of the game, more like a veteran. So, when you hear that, or I'm going to say it one more time.
Yeah.
Even though I came to bring you the word, I'm no reverend, even though you are a reverend.
Reverend.
I'm just a casualty of the game, more like a veteran. I know what it means to me.
Yeah.
But I want to hear your version of what is that saying to you? I was by Young Jeezy, by the way.
Jeezy, the snowman.
No, man, Big Snow.
Big Snow.
Big Snow.
Big Snow. Okay, so even though I came to bring you the word, I'm no reverend. Forget my title. Forget who I am, right? I'm just a casualty of the game, more like a veteran. I've been here.
Yeah.
I've been through this.
Yep.
Maybe I've even died. But I'm still living because I'm a veteran, right?
Right.
And I made it out.
Yeah.
Let me help you.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Like, and I think it goes back to what you said. Like one of the first things you said about patience, and do you have the patience for this? But it came from the scripture, like I don't know what scripture again.
Patience is prevention is perfect work.
Perfect work, right?
Let it have patience let trials come so that patience can have their perfect work. The paraphrasing of the scripture,
right? So being able to break that down in a way like that comes from experience as well.
Yeah.
And so it's beautiful to hear how, again, the most dynamic communicator of our lifetime is super valuable to understand that you got to go through some things to be able to whip that thing around into a way that nobody saw it coming.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So they don't realize that you're giving them bars, bars for the word, but so that's dope. That's dope that you can do that.
Yeah. And to filter it. So I'm saying that even with what y'all do, like being a communicator is a big part of what you have to do. And I need to work with my communication, man. Golly, man. Anyway, so what is your process when you receive the information? You receive the vision. You receive whatever, the higher up, whatever, and you have to communicate that. whether to your audience, whether to your subordinates? How do you? What is your process with that?
Man, I was reminded the other day. I'm telling you, I was reminded. It's so crazy, just how you get these reminders that maybe you learned years ago, but you hadn't had to work them out. You haven't had to use them. I got to ingest it and digest it before I communicate it. And so I get it. I ingest it. Sometimes it means I got to, right? Somebody else that get it. I get it. I digest it. What was it they were trying to say to me, right? Because even they have a job to do, right? And their job is to get it done really fast, right? Very efficiently, very quickly. They just got to get it. They just got to get it, right? Because they were still on my level, then it would be something else. But they worked through my level to not have to do all that yet, right? So you're the expert.
Right.
And so I say, okay, what was it they were trying to say after I've ingested? What was it they were trying to say? All right, let me check myself, right? And then I gather the team, right? And depending on what the information is, it may be 3 of them that get it this way, 2 of them that get it this way, or 4 of them that get it this way, 1 of them that get it this way. So now I got to figure out, do I have these 4 in the conversation and I tell them because I know they're going to get it and let me individually talk to that one-on-one, or is it something that I can tell everybody at one time?
Wow.
Because the truth be told, sometimes you can't. And as much as they would like, right, you just hop on the team's call, boom, right, and tell them.
Right.
No.
It's not always the case.
Man, I think that's my issue too, because sometimes I want people to get it like how I got it, but it don't necessarily happen that way. And sometimes I would over-communicate. Like I was saying, that makes sense. You know what I mean? Did that make sense? So I guess what would be your suggestion? Coach me. What would be your advice?
I mean, you got me. We doing role play today. Tell me how we're doing. Right.
We got role play, but just coach me. So
it's right. It's a key. Oh look, you got me. I got me turning tables over and stuff. Like, man.
So how do I communicate better to my team? Get it how I got it. Give it how I got it, and
yeah,
I guess that thing.
So whatever it is that you were given, you got to take it in, and however much time that may take you, you got to take it in. Because sometimes if you don't fully take it in and try to immediately, right, it's like trying to serve somebody undone chicken. No, you got to let it bake.
That's that meditation.
Yes, you gotta let it bake, and that's one of your strengths, right? Your mind.
Yeah.
So you gotta let whatever your mind is tolling through. You gotta take it in, right?
Wow.
Once you take it in, really actually digest it. Know who it's coming from, right? The Bible tells us to know those that labor among us,
right.
And we think, oh, that's just knowing them spirits. No, actually,
That's the revelation.
actually know who it is that's talking to you. Me now knowing my boss, right? Okay, I know how she thinks. I know who she is to her core. I know who her boss is and how she getting it from him. So, okay.
So
they say noted.
wait, she's saying a lot. I can't even wait to play this back. She's saying a lot. So. First of all, you know the people, and
in order to know, and one thing before you get into that, you gotta care about your people too.
Yeah,
and that's what
Like, because you ain't gonna know your people if you don't care about them. I just all these daggone buttholes out here that just want to move a number, just want to treat people however they want to treat them. Like you gotta stop that. Like you can't treat people any kind of way.
You can't.
Like, it just
they are human beings.
And I wanted to connect like our beliefs directly with success, and she's doing it right now. You know what I mean? That's why I'm like, so you have to care about people.
You got to.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to get to know people, which requires listening, understanding. So that way, when they do communicate, you take it in. You know the source, know where it's coming from, and now you know how to. what's the word for that?
Disseminate. Yep.
That's
the good word. Yeah, that's a good one.
Now you know how to disseminate.
Yeah.
So okay. I wish I had my notebook.
I know, right?
Take notes. Y'all better pay attention, man. I'm telling you, she dropping bars.
Oh man, I've been through it. I'm a veteran. Been through it. I'm telling you, because being on the other end of that, right, when we don't do that method, now everything we have to clean up. Because we just didn't take the time. So you gotta take the time, right? It's not saying that it may take you 24 hours to do it. Sometimes it may take you 24 hours to do it, because there may be something else that is more pressing than that. It's pressing for them, but is it actually pressing for you? And if it's not, let's schedule it.
Right.
So now we are prepared, and we can prepare ourselves for what it is that we're about to get into. Right? You know.
She coaching, boy.
Yeah.
Just
Coaching.
Yeah.
it's the one thing I love. It's the one thing I love. For free.
It's free game. Look, today's price. What did it say? Yesterday's price.
Just went up.
Yeah, man. Scripture of the day.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh man. Y'all got a scripture today? Okay.
Well, no, I mean, I didn't, but I do now.
You got to flow, right?
Okay, you're flowing. Y'all flowing.
Both. You know, both.
No, but a lot of what I've been hearing is from you is a lot of just processing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And even from your core being, it's like as a leader, you are more in tune with yourself and who you are. And that takes a lot of process, which also takes a lot of patience. So let's go to that scripture. Let patience have a perfect work. You mentioned it before. I got a question. Why is it so important to have patience have its perfect work? And then there's another part said that, so you should be wanting nothing. What does that mean to you?
Yeah.
I'm gonna find that while she talking.
No, you're good. When you think about just letting patience have this perfect word in that context, it's, you know, letting it complete itself, letting it mature to whatever it is it's supposed to be. And again, right, if you take chicken out of the oven prematurely, you now have something that's undone, unsafe, not good, right? And so when it gets to patience, just the ability to be able to be calm, wait, have time for something to come to its best stage.
Right.
It's our due diligence.
Yeah.
So important to me, because we don't do our due diligence when we don't let something maturate. So we gotta let it mature. We gotta let it get to where it is developmentally sound to benefit.
But it's my money and I need it now.
You think it is? You think it is? You think it is? And just imagine, you know, you look at like Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos and all this kind of stuff, of how they had to sometimes wait on these different processes.
You know, and that's what, you know, I've been learning from, you know, although I'm a Reverend. She wants you to. I ain't we snitching.
Oh, we snitching.
We telling all guys people, boy. But I'm more so a businessman too. So like I do a lot of research and reading about a lot of the, you know, billionaires.
Yeah.
What is it that they possess? And patience. You know, a lot of these people, they built their business slowly but surely.
Yep.
And now we have a lot of, I ain't gonna say that, but we have a lot of entrepreneurs today.
Yeah.
You know, who just want it real quick.
Yeah.
And just want the money real quick.
Yeah.
And they're willing to do whatever.
And
you know?
Yep.
And they don't possess that thing called patience.
Yeah, and you talked about the second part of wanting for nothing. Now, do they want for anything? No, because they were able to set it up right? Which kind of goes back to my strategy mindset, right? Because sometimes we rush the process and we don't get whatever it was that we were supposed to be learning in that process. And now we have undone chicken, undone cake, just everything just undone. Yeah. Just trash. Just trash. And which those entrepreneurs, you look at them 5 years later and they are shut down.
Gone.
They have, because they did not let it have its perfect work.
Right.
They did not work out the process, right? They didn't go through those trials. They didn't go through those tribulations. They didn't ask for wisdom. They didn't do it.
Right.
So now they don't have no business.
Right.
And they starting over from scratch over again with a bad brand now.
Wanted something else.
Yep, wanted something else, right? So man, I'm so big on do it the right way first.
That's true.
Do it the right way, even if it take a little time.
Right.
Do it the right way first.
Right. Patience is definitely key, man. Patience. I gotta practice that myself.
Oh, it's a practice.
Yeah, it is a practice.
It's a struggle.
Like I struggle
It's a struggle.
with that every day because my brother said one day, he said, don't look at the numbers, keep your head down. You know what I'm saying? That I don't do that at all.
Right, you see them numbers. You see them numbers. He's a numbers guy.
See, that's the C part.
Yeah.
But what is the C again?
Conscientious.
Conscientious. I'm looking at
More
numbers,
strategic
trying to figure out how to make, until I wear myself out and just, whatever. That's kicking. So I got to practice that.
This is what I learned about Vo today, though. I learned that as broad of like that you seem in terms of like I don't know, like your specialties and your expertise, it all comes back to you really balancing your strength or really honing on your strength of intelligence.
For sure.
It just, you're so intelligent, so it just seems
Yeah.
like,
And it's so crazy. I think we were talking about this, like, I have to realize that I'm me, nobody else is.
That's it.
And so maybe they don't understand my intellect. And honestly, that's not their job.
Yeah.
Right.
And I have to take that responsibility off people.
Right.
A lot of times we put so much of the responsibility of them wanting to understand us, but we're in the chief seat.
Yeah.
Our job is to only understand them.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
And the truth, it's the same thing with God, right? So many mysteries of God.
Yeah, it is.
You can't understand them all.
Right.
But if you can understand a concept, that's going to help you live right. Understand and live by that concept.
Grab something.
Right? Grab something. Vote on play. Got it. That's the concept you live with. So now when I get something, when you get something from me, I don't play.
Right.
It may not be no delay. Right?
Right.
Vogo coach me through this. Okay? That's the concept you live with.
Yeah.
And if you need coaching, you better say something.
Right.
Right.
And that's where we will just become even better leaders if we realize that sometimes the things that we're expecting from our followers,
Right.
why?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Why?
That's a that's a thing of being selfless.
That's
Today
is
selfless.
just being selfless. Selfless is
Because you said something key. You said sometimes we try to get people to understand us, versus us understanding them. And I think that the key to any good relationship, if everybody had that mindset and we came to, came together and communicated that way, we'd be a lot better off.
We'll be a lot better off.
Let me understand what you're saying.
Yep.
But that's why marriage works.
Yeah.
Like, or a marriage that works.
Correct.
That's why it works.
Correct.
Because both parties are going after each other's hearts and going after each other. Want to make sure that, all right, let me make sure I'm catering to my wife. Let me make sure I'm catering to my husband.
Yep.
Like, that's why it works.
They're committed.
Yeah,
Right.
committed.
They're committed to it.
Right.
By whatever means necessary. I didn't understand what you said, but I promise you I'm going to understand what you say before we go to bed. Okay?
sit on it, right?
I'm going to sit on this,
Ingest, digest,
ingest and digest. You got to ingest it and digest it. I'm telling you, you don't talk with a full mouth. Let it digest.
Right,
Let it digest.
Man, that's really good. That's good information.
So I want to hit on that a little bit, not too long, because I know we're probably close to our time, but
Relationships?
no.
Oh, I was like, ooh, all right, yeah.
You are in a male-dominated space.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
African-American female, double minority.
Right, double.
So when you talk about communicating and people understanding you and just, that can get, it can get interesting. How do you navigate through that?
Whew. Much prayer, much fasting. Because it's so many stereotypes that come with me being who I am. Like, she gonna be the angry, mad black woman boss, right? Oh, she just want to be in power boss.
Right.
Golly, I'm actually really nice. Like, can I get a chance?
Real cool.
The way that I navigate through it is honestly, it's going to be like, you go back to this again. But I let people be people.
Makes sense.
I am not my white male colleague. I am not my black male colleague. I am a black woman. I am who I am.
Makes sense.
And just because I am who I am does not make me inadequate, does not make me not ignorant, not knowledgeable. I don't try to manage like anybody else.
Right.
Because in the moments that I have tried, right, because you level up, and it's like, oh no, you got to get it now. You got to get it, right? And that's the transparency piece, that we don't do everything perfect.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't want you to think that you got to do everything perfect. I tried it, like, oh man, let me be direct. Let me just get to it, go home to my family, don't worry about it. And people was like, dang, I thought I was expecting so much more from you. Golly, right? I use it to my advantage that I'm a woman, because, you know, we have that intuitive nature already.
I like that. I like that.
I use it to my advantage that I'm black. I have, you know, 2 stripes against me. So let me show you how I overcome it.
Man, so you took what most people, I ain't gonna say most people, a lot of the narrative today is, you know, being a whoop-de-whoop female, and, you know, it's like this whole masculine, feminine thing. But you said I took what people may consider, you know, in a male-dominant field, something that's, I ain't gonna say weak, but less important, and made it a strength. Like, what made you decide to go that route and not play the victim?
Oh, yeah. If I wanted to play the victim, I should have played that probably about 14 years ago. It's too late to play the victim now. I'm sorry. It's just too late to play the victim now. But again, it goes back to me wanting to be able to show people that it can be done.
Right.
And I challenge them, man, I'm the best. Look, they're trying to do what I do. Did you ever look at their plans and their processes?
Right.
Oh, they're doing what I do. Right? Let me show you that it actually works. And I lean into who I am to my core.
Oh, man, see, that's a lot. So self-awareness, you know, just knowing who God created you to be, like, that's very important.
Yep.
Because that seems like a strong foundation for you.
Yes, it is very much so.
Even throughout, you know, you just walking us down briefly from your past, you saying your mom, she kind of honed you.
Yeah.
But even sound like you probably got that, because you say even she didn't really.
Yeah, I mean, she realized, and that's where I think her greatest strength was, is that she knew maybe who I was supposed to be.
Right.
And she knew it was going to take more than her to make me become that. And so, you know, now with people, I lean into who I am. Maybe that requires me to watch how I communicate.
Right.
Maybe that requires me to make sure I don't go into emotional turmoil because I am a woman and more emotional. It doesn't mean I don't have my emotions, but it means I just don't spiral in them, right? Maybe that means I need to make sure I have a therapist that I can talk to, right? These are, these are some actionable, I'm very big on actionable steps that we can do to make sure you just be the best person that you're supposed to be, right? I have a very high emotional intelligence, and a lot of my colleagues in this male-dominated society, they don't, right? He's doing a great job. Don't let him tell y'all nothing different. He is the GOAT. He is the GOAT, right? And I really lean in. Lean In is a big woman initiative that we're doing, and it tells us, you know, to sometimes when I want to stay quiet, and I know maybe I've stayed quiet 2 times, right? Stayed quiet, or maybe this 3rd time.
Not to
Hands up, and it's so stay up. They got a witness it on a call one day. I was like, no, now let's redo this. No, now let's redo that, because then, you know, you have to make sure you're not the imposter, right? And that you lean back so much that you just begin to blend in. Nope. Yep, you disappear. I got to this seat for a reason. So clearly something that I did worked. I'm gonna continue to do it. And now I got to bring all other women, men, whoever want to come on. Let me show you too how it works.
You are a true light.
Yes.
I try to be.
Yeah, true light.
I try to be. Sometimes I go a little dim. I have to tighten the bulb.
But I think your style is ahead of the game, right? Like, I think, again, like we talked about earlier when we were talking about more so, I guess church stuff, right? Or I think it's the same when it comes to business. We have a lot of people that that think differently and that want to be communicated differently than what we communicated back in the day.
Yeah.
You tell us what to do, we just did it.
We did it.
Right, but that ain't how they communicate now, right? So, and that's why I'm consistently on the phone with Vo because of her level of emotional intelligence, right? So because, all right, hey, how should I say this? And then I think we had a moment last week where I was telling her what I said, but it's like I learned it from our conversation.
It was perfect.
So, you know, it just
I did that with you last. What was that, 2 weeks ago?
I'm telling you. He's the GOAT.
Yeah. So I see
because he literally ingests the stuff. He ingests it, and then the way that I see it come back around, I'd be like, golly, you did it better than what I would have did it. You know, it's that it'd be that little jab. It's amazing.
You know, you're the fan favorite. You know, and we appreciate you for sure,
man. I see, like with you, you are truly an example of what God is doing in leadership today.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Say that one more time. Say that one more time.
Example of what God is doing in leadership today.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, she's not walking around with a Bible in her hand because it's not on her agenda. You know what I mean? So like, you gotta understand that she is really a walking, living epistle. And to digest the word and communicate it to where people can understand it, that is a testimony as to what leadership look like.
Wow.
It may not even be people who know Jesus or who know, what it's like to walk or follow Christ, but your example.
Wow.
And then the way that he's propelling you will be enough evidence for people to want to follow, you know, and the way you're doing it.
When I'm getting the word.
You know, when you're doing it and the way you're doing it is amazing.
I appreciate that.
I see that. And it's really an example for me, you know.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely.
If I can do what he has called me to do, I have done enough.
Definitely.
Last question I got for you.
Oh, yeah.
The person that you are has gotten you to this point you are today. You're super successful. You manage millions of dollars. You're $1 million in profit.
Yeah.
You're a 6-figure earner.
Yeah.
You're, great mother, great wife.
Yeah.
All those things, right? But you have to become something more to get to your next level.
Yeah.
What does that look like for you? What do you have to give up, or what do you have to become who you need to become to get to your next level?
Wow. What don't I have to do? It's so funny. Like, golly, you guys are just crazy. I was thinking about this the other day because I don't want to just be the 6-figure earner or the great mom or the great wife. I want to be so much more. And so now I'm really in a time of like prayer fasting to see everything that's supposed to be. You said, what do I have to give up to become that? The thing that right now, it's probably the most challenging is giving up my will. It's giving up my will because you're right, decorated already, right? But it was so funny. I was walking to a car one day and I was having a conversation with God because I was in one of those moments. And I was like, man, if this is all you had for me to do, I mean, you could take me. I was like, and I'm not ready to go. So it got to be a lot more that you want me to do. And coming on shows like this,
of course,
be more to do more. Is going to be part of it for sure. But the thing that I'm having to give up right now is just my will, how I see things, how I think things should take place, right? How I want to get promoted, just the I'm having to give it up for whatever he really wants me to be. So it's a little challenging.
Right.
It's a little challenging. It's something that I'm walking through daily. But I know as I'm giving it up, whatever it is, whether it's more shows, books, which I definitely want to start writing, all that, man, right? That he's going to start pouring it into me so that I can give it back out. Right. Yeah. For sure. Man. For sure.
Well, it's been an honor. It's been
this has been amazing. You guys are amazing.
I really don't want to let you go. But I get to spend more time with you.
Yes.
I'm the one who's editing the video.
Yes.
I get a word whenever I want. So, but check this out, man. You guys be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell. Did I say follow? Do I usually say follow?
I don't know.
Follow. Hit the bell.
Yes,
Let's get
please.
this information out of here, man. Let's get Miss Vo information and all the bars she spit out of here.
Oh, what's your handles?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, you can follow me on Facebook. It's actually Valious Lucas, Valious, last name Lucas. On Instagram, which is where I be at, Your Boss Vo, at Your Boss Vo. I know it's in the name, so just follow me.
Yeah, let's get this information out of here. We straight.
Told somebody keep their head up cause you concerned about them. Stick and move, we can get it done. Call it unity, it ain't no way around it. Cultivating, we get motivation from the big guy. We don't play about them. Going hard for the game, showing love, don't tolerate.